So today we're graphing linear equations. So before we start graphing, we have to remember a few things about graphing. So this is in page 19 on your book. Okay, so we have 4 different slopes. We have this one, this one, this one, and this guy. So these are what the slopes could look like. This is a positive slope. This guy's a negative slope. This guy is an undefined slope. And this guy is a no slope or 0. Okay, we always read our slopes from left to right, or our graphs from left to right, like we read words in English. So that's really important. Then you also need to know the slope-intercept formula. So that's y equals mx plus b. So m is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. So this is where your line crosses the y-axis. All right, so let's graph. Okay, so number 1. So my slope is the number in front of my x, and you need to think about your slope as a fraction. So it's -2, and I can always put a 1 under my whole number and then make it a fraction. Then my y-intercept is +4, so it's where I begin. So this is my b value. So I always start on my y-axis, and I go to where this number is. So it's at +4, so we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot. And then my slope is negative, so it's going to look like this guy. So think about what your picture is going to look like before you actually graph it. Okay? So I'm going to go up 2, and then to make that line go this direction, I have to go to the left one. And then from my dot, because we can only move from one dot to the next dot, I'm going to go down 2 and then right 1, down 2 and then right 1, and I'm going to keep going across my whole graph, because when you graph, you want nice long lines with arrows at the ends. We don't want to stop. It's not a dot to dot, it's a line. Okay? So make nice smooth lines. Okay. So let's see. This guy right here. So the number in front of my x value is my slope. So my slope is negative. When you don't see a number, it's a 1. And remember, you can always put that into a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So this is my slope. And then my b value, I don't have anything, so we start at 0. It's a decreasing slope, so it needs to look like this. So think about what your graph looks like before you graph it. So if I went up 1 and then over 1, I'd have to go this way to make a decreasing graph. Up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, all the way across. And then I can go back to my beginning and then down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, all the way across. Make a nice long line with arrows at the ends. Okay, so these are both negative slopes. We have a positive slope here. Whatever number is in front of your x value is your slope. So my slope is 4/3. Remember, your slope is rise over run. So it's how many you move up and down over how many you move left and right. Okay? Oops, there you go. All right, and then I begin at +1. So I always start on my y-axis at whatever number this guy is, this extra number. So it's at +1. Remember, it's the number not attached to the x. And then I'm going to move my slope, so it's positive. So my line needs to look like this. So think about what your line looks like before you graph. And it's got a rise of 4 and a run of 3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the right 1, 2, 3. Because if I went to the left, then I'd have a decreasing graph. Then you have to go back to your beginning spot, not the origin, not the center, the beginning, and you're going to go opposite. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's your rise. And then you have a run of 1, 2, 3. I can't put any more dots on my graph, so I'm going to connect them using a nice long line with arrows at the ends. So we could do this guy. Okay, we always look for our slope first. It's the number in front of our x value. So my slope is a -2/3. So I have a rise or a run of 2, or I'm sorry, a rise or fall, I guess, of 2, and then a run of 3. And then we're going to start at this number. That's where we begin our b value for the y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. So we're going to cross at -4. So go down to 4 and we make our dot. My slope is negative, so it's going to look like this guy. So think about what your line looks like before you graph it. It has a rise of 2, so I'm going to go up 1, 2. And then I want to go to the left, 1, 2, 3, so that way I get a decreasing slope. It doesn't matter that this is a negative and the rise or run. You have to go both directions anyways. So then I can keep going up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3 to keep my line nice and straight and decreasing. And then I could go down from my original, down 2, and then to the right, 1, 2, 3. To make a nice long line with arrows at the ends. So you don't want anything like zigzaggy. These are straight lines. Okay, number 5. So this guy, I don't have an x value. So when you don't have both letters, an x or a y, then you're left with either this guy or you're left with this guy. So these guys are one letter. So if you notice over here, I have 2 letters and it's tilty. And then here I have 2 letters and it's tilty. And then I have 2 letters, x and y, it's tilty, 2 letters, x and y, it's tilty. Okay? This guy, I only have 1 letter. So now we have to figure out what this looks like, if it looks like this guy or this one. Okay, so straight up and down or left and right. All right, so here's what happens. We are going to go to whatever axis this is. So this is on y. So we go over to y, and then we're going to go to 3. 1, 2, 3. So this only touches the y-axis at 3. It's not going to touch the x-axis at all. So to not touch this x-axis, it has to go this way. So this guy is this line. It has a no slope. So the slope is 0. And it looks really similar to the other ones we've been graphing because it says y equals, and this guy says y equals, and this guy says y equals, and this guy says y equals. It looks the same. Now, this is the different one, this guy down here. He says x equals, so he's like the odd man out, the one that we can't actually do. So like, we can walk up a hill, we can walk down a hill, we can walk flat, but we can't just jump up to the ceiling or jump thousands of feet in the air. Like, this does not happen naturally. So 9, this x equals, this is the weird one, okay? So his slope is undefined, and he's vertical. He only touches the x-axis. So we go to where x is positive 3. So x is positive 3 right here. And he only touches the one letter. So one letter means not tilty. Like that. And it's basically what's happening here is that each of these ordered pairs has an x value of 3. The y value is different, but the x value is always 3. So if I look here, I have this ordered pair is 3, 0. And this ordered pair is 3, 1. And this ordered pair is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This ordered pair down here is 3, negative 2. And this guy is 3, negative 4. So if you notice, all of these x values are 3. And that's what this says. Everywhere x is 3 is on this line. So that's why this line looks like it, because all those ordered pairs have the same x value and it's 3. Okay, we'll do one more. This one, again, is really similar to number 2, but often confuse students. So we always look for the number in front of our x. Since we have 2 letters, we're going to have a tilty. So it'll either be tilty this way or tilty this way.
Mom, I need that.
Okay, so the number in front of my x, when there is no number there, is a 1. So my slope is always a fraction, so it's going to be 1 over 1. You can always make it a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. There's no extra number, so we always start at 0, and it's positive, so it's going to look like that guy. So think about what it looks like before we graph it. So I have a positive, my rise of 1, and my run of 1. So rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run 1. Keep going all the way across, then go back to your original dot, and then go the opposite direction, all the way across. Connect your dots using a nice long line with arrows at the ends. Okay, let your teacher know if you have any questions. Have a great day. Bye.